will begin a public meeting at 6:27. This is a public hearing to dispose of public ground, the old middle school lot. The City of Perry previously agreed to a sale a portion of the old middle school lot to Newbury Living for the development of a senior living residential project. It has now become necessary for Newbury to acquire additional land for the project as described. A parcel of land in Block 8 of Foster and Heathen's addition to the town of Perry, an official plat now included in and forming a part of the City of Perry, Dallas County, Iowa, being more particularly described as follows: beginning at the northwest corner of said Block 8, then South 89. This is a long legal description. It's on file at City Hall. If anybody wants to read it, they're more than welcome to do it. We'll have that on file. And basically, we've even got a little map up here that I'm sure you could look at too and just see exactly what we're talking about. But it is a small portion of the old middle school lot, which was the original old high school lot here in Perry. And with that, according to section 364.7 of the Code of Iowa, we're required that before the city may dispose of an interest in real property by sale, the city must set forth its proposal in a resolution and publish notice as provided in section 362.3 and hold a public hearing on the proposal. That's what we're doing right now. Bob, did you have anything you wanted to say about that? Bob is here from Newbury Living. Please come on up and
talk about this briefly.
Sure. And but I think we'll let you take the microphone and introduce yourself for everybody, even though I kind of partially have here.
I'm Bob Rafferty, and I work with Newbury Living, and have been working on this project since 2013 now. And it seems like we're getting so close to closing, and then all of a sudden it just moves a little further away. The fun thing to think about is we actually have 4 people now on the waiting list. I don't think we've ever had 4 people on the waiting list before we've broken ground. So there's obviously tying into the housing needs. I think there's a real interest and need for more senior housing opportunities, affordable senior housing opportunities for Perry. So we're excited to get going. The additional land will allow for stormwater retention. It also helps because one of the things that the appraisal didn't support the $65,000 price. And so what we've done, and it amazingly, the square footage basically captures the area that would be needed for stormwater retention purposes. We initially were going to just do that through an easement, and through discussions it made sense, since we had the $65,000, to go ahead and purchase that, and then as part of that propose an easement so that the remainder of your parcel will be able to access that portion of that new portion of the property for stormwater discharge as well. So that's part of in there. In addition, there's a second easement because we'll be putting the drive in where there had been an alley many decades ago, and it's assumed when the other side gets developed that driveway may come across. And so we thought it would make sense for both parcels to be able to jointly use and maintain that parcel. And so so there's an easement for that. The other thing that I'm going to point out is that as part of this, because it's amending the land, we amend the option to purchase. In addition, we're running into some potential delays as it relates to getting the environmental approval because we're adding this land. We weren't expecting that delay, and that could delay us another potentially 6 weeks, which we'll have to fight through or deal with. Nonetheless, I thought it would be prudent, and so I suggested adding a sentence to the amendment portion that you received earlier this week, and I know the new version you have before you adds the sentence, "Further, the parties agree to extend the option to February 15, 2016. The previous option would expire December 31st of this year. I do expect us to make that deadline, but while we're doing this, it seemed to make sense to give us a little breathing room in case, my son is an Eagle Scout, and I learned to always be prepared. With that, I'd be happy to take questions.
And that can come from, first around the table, but anybody in the room who might have a question for Bob, please feel free.
Assuming this all goes as planned, when do you think you would be breaking ground on the facility?
Again, we need to work through Iowa Finance Authority on the environmental clearance. It could be as early as 2 weeks, it could be 2 months.
So it might not be till spring, potentially?
No, we'd actually start in the winter. I mean, it would add a little extra costs to thaw the ground and so forth, but we need to be moving.
Okay.
I will say that my concerns when this all came up, and we deal with the state all the time and programs that the state puts out, and they're constantly in flux. So many times we have to react to a review by the state, especially if any type of grant or low-interest money is involved. And I think that enters into play. But the two concerns that I had were most of all that there wouldn't be any monetary contribution on the part of the city of Perry, and that concern was met.
Beyond the $65,000.
Correct. And the other one would be that if someone else would decide to develop the back part of that lot, a whole different party, that they would have an easement to be able to use the drainage and also to be able to access, and that condition has also been met. So I think going forward, it continues to be a good thing for Perry. In a big way, especially if we have a waiting list, Bob. Yeah. Thank you. Any other comments or questions during open forum? If not, we'll...
Sure. Do we have any plans to try again, to maybe develop the rest of that lot?
We certainly would have an interest. We don't have a vehicle at this point of what that would be, but we certainly would be interested in continuing to keep in communication with the city and look for opportunities that would allow us to do that. We certainly would be an interested developer.
Other comments? In that case, we'll call the open meeting closed at 6:35. The public meeting, and that